Can project management and control be critical tools to enhance Nigerian economy opportunity that will help us overcome some of the obstacles that we have faced in the past? Meanwhile, the issue around practice of project management to ensure resources are used appropriately and reduce the incidence of fund misappropriation, corruption, and foster trust and ensure project deliver on time is one of the reasons the federal government of Nigeria established CIPMN. Joining me on the show is Mr. Ifeanyi Mbadiwe, the Registrar General, CEO of Chartered Institute of Project Managers of Nigeria, CIPMN, one of the agencies under Federal Ministry of Trade Investment. Mr. Henry, a very good day to have you on the show, and welcome to the Market Report, ADBN.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
All right. Now, to many of our viewers, CIPMN will be like, is it a foreign organization or what? Mr. Henry, help us to understand CIPMN formation since 2018.
All right. So CIPMN is an agency that was signed into law by Mr. President in 2018. And the mandate of this agency is to professionalize the project management practice in Nigeria. The establishment of the CIPMN Act means that as per the day it was established, Nigeria has now decided to take seriously the idea of project management delivery and to ensure that only professionally licensed project managers deliver projects or head projects in Nigeria. The mandate of CIPMN is very simple. If you look across the economy, you would find projects in every sector of the economy. Projects go beyond just construction or infrastructure projects. You have projects in every part of the economy. You have technology projects, you have humanitarian projects, you have healthcare projects, you have projects in every ministry, in every department, and in every agency in this country. In fact, I normally say that if any country or organization is serious about implementing its strategies, it has to break them down into projects. And project management is delivering a particular product. That product can be anything. It can be a second Niger bridge, it can be a new building, it can be a water dam project, or healthcare and IT project. You have a particular start time and end time, which means it is temporary. It can be designing policies or any new innovation. Anything you are doing that has a particular start date and a particular end date, so it's fixed, all right, and you are delivering that according to an agreed idea of what you're supposed to do, that thing is a project. There's something we call operational activities. These activities go on every day, you know, and you go to the bank, you want to withdraw money, that tellering process happens, it's the same thing. But when you have a product that needs to be delivered within a specific period of time, they are talking about a project. And this law says that anybody who is leading any initiative in Nigeria that is a project must be licensed to do that. And that is because you find that in a lot of climes, countries that do not take project management seriously, they tend to waste their resources, they tend to delay in project delivery, which means that the economic value they're supposed to have from delivering something on time is lost. You find that in that particular economy that you have these issues where you have projects that are abandoned, where you have projects that are started and finished and possibly not even used, so it's not utilized. You have projects that have been overspent, over budgeted. You have projects that don't align to the strategy of the organization. CIPMN is here to solve that problem, to ensure that you upskill the individuals who are leading these initiatives and to ensure that you license the right people to deliver projects in Nigeria.
Very interesting. I really love your submission and your introductory aspect of it. But let's just take it further by seeing it is a wisdom on the part of the federal government in 2018 to bring CIPMN into fruition. And for the past, let me say, 5 years that it has been existing, I think you guys have been doing what you can do in this regard. But another thing that will quickly come to the mind of our viewers is that I think one of the reasons government would have bring this to fruition is not just for the private sector alone. It's also have to do with the government. Now, one of the reasons could be maybe to ensure that, as you rightly mentioned in your intro, the aspect of budgeting. We have had in this situation of our country that we put money for a particular budget, but we keep reviewing that budget spending and the rest of them. But on the part of your organization, your collaboration with professionals, your collaboration with private sector, as well as people in the government, how has it been going? Because we need to understand that to know how far CIPM have been able to succeed in its mandate so far.
So that's a very interesting question, because although we're signed into law 2018, my tenure as registrar only just started about 2.5 years ago. I think that in the early setup stage, there were a few setup modalities that needed to be finalized. So CIPMN, I would say, really kicked off about 2.5 years ago. And in that time, we've had a very good collaboration with a few ministries and agencies. We've worked with the ITF, for example, to come up with on the Scale Up Artisan program, to design a curriculum for project management and to ensure that we help artisans in Nigeria understand how to plan, how to manage risks, how to manage changes. These are simple parts of the economy that affects me and you.
Exactly.
You take your car to a mechanic workshop and you need that car to be worked on properly, and this mechanic guy takes on 3, 4, 5, 6 cars at the same time. They tell you, Oga, come tomorrow, we'll have your car ready. And by tomorrow is not ready, not because he doesn't want it ready, possibly he hasn't planned properly, he hasn't been able to manage the activities. So these project management skills would help you to understand how to deal with that. But that's just one aspect of what we've been doing. We've also worked with the Nigerian University Commission. CIPMN has created the first ever project management curriculum for the NUC. So the NUC has what we call a core curriculum minimum academic standard. And that means that they call it the CCMAS. So every subject you study in university, you have a corresponding CCMAS at the NUC. So if you want to run medicine in your university, you go to the NUC, you get the curriculum from the NUC, and then you teach your medicine within your university. Now, we designed the first curriculum for project management studies at the BSc level. In Nigeria, and now that is now with NUC, which means universities can now begin to take BSc degrees, core project management, not in line with engineering or in line with this. So a lot of people believe that project management is only engineering or urban and regional development. No,
what they call research development aspect.
No. Project management cuts across. So the project management skills that are important, are not just about the technical skills. There are soft skills, leadership skills. It's a lot of collaboration skills, stakeholder management skills. So all of these help, in delivering projects successfully. So we've worked with NUC to create a degree program that any university in Nigeria can now decide to run core project management degree, can go to the NUC, take that curriculum, and then because we're trying to make sure that knowledge that we create, that the individuals or the graduates with this particular skill set. So we've done a lot of work. We've been working with the Standard Organization of Nigeria, created project management standard for Nigeria. And we've been doing a lot of work with PENCOM and a few agencies around. The idea is this. All right, we need to make sure that a few things happen in Nigeria. One, that when you're talking about delivering projects, only professionals do it. Those people who are currently delivering projects in this country would need to get themselves licensed, so that when someone is delivering a project and they are not licensed to do so, we can stop them. And when someone messes up or screws up a project, we can hold somebody responsible. There's something you have to understand. In every developed nation, project management is not something that is put under the table. It is something that starts at the beginning. Preparing of your budget in this country is a project. And there are certain skill sets, the kind of requirements, gathering processes that you are meant to deal with, all right, set of prioritization that you're meant to handle, stakeholder management, collaboration, a lot of the technical skills and soft skills that are required that project management teaches you and come in play in the budget preparation of this country, and also obviously the implementation of that budget. All right, so we need to make sure that from the highest education institution level all the way to the professional side, on the public sector and the private sector, that project management is being encouraged as a tool for human capital development. My brother, it is human beings that build a nation. It is not tractors or cars or clothes. It is human beings. And if you develop the human capital of that nation, you would find that human capital you've developed will produce better outcome for you, which would increase in which would translate to economic growth, less waste, all right, proper value, you know, and then you see a nation begin to grow.
I really love your submission in this regard, talking about proper value and less wastage in the governance space, because particularly, you know, most Nigerians and most of our viewers will be correct, or will be at this point in time agree that we need more project management on the public sector side.
Yes, we do.
Because the private sector, in a way, have been able to capture that and implement. That's why most times, when the private sector start a project, on time, on budget, they get it done. But on the public side, we still having an issue.
Do you know why?
Go ahead, sir.
Do you know why? It's a lot of people who, something I've come to see in the public sector, which I think, in my experience, I think it really doesn't make sense. Projects are treated as things that need to be done. Oh, have we signed up this one? You see, contractors work hard to prepare documentations to secure a project. And once it's secured, that's it. Nobody cares anymore. We have monitoring and evaluation. But then, what are you monitoring and what are you evaluating? When in the beginning of the project, the contractor has promised things that are not even possible so that they can be awarded this particular project. What are you monitoring? When you have given a project to a contractor that does not even have a licensed project manager on that project, what are you monitoring? What is the BPP monitoring? For example, if people submit project proposals and we are asking who's going to lead this project, and you have someone who's not a licensed project manager leading the project, that's ridiculous. Now, if something is going wrong on that project, you have individuals who go up from ministries or departments or agencies, God bless them, trying to do their work the best they can. They don't even have an idea of what project management is. A contractor will come in and bamboozle you, and you think, oh, this is amazing, we're going to give this guy this particular, or this company this particular project. Well, you might not even have any project management skills. That's why I thank the SON, the Standard Organization of Nigeria. They said, look, we're going to train all of our directors in project management, so that all of them would understand what it means to deliver projects. So that when a contractor comes, they are able to ascertain if that contractor knows what he's doing, if he's going to use the right project management methodology. But because it's government, a lot of people don't care. Oh, we've assigned the project to project A. Fine, no problem. You know, we'll just go and monitor them and check what they're doing, and you know, that's just it. You know, and then we try our best to do some documentation, and that's it. But when something goes wrong, people begin to say, oh, is this person, oh, is that person. But when you have a licensed project manager, you have one person who is licensed to oversee the project. Even if a company delivering projects, there's one licensed project manager on that project. That person you hold responsible. Exactly. We would hold that person responsible if something goes wrong.
Talking about holding someone responsible, we have seen a series of building collapse in Nigeria, particularly in Lagos and Abuja. And most times when Nigerians want to shout, when Nigerians want to complain, they quickly call on the engineer. They quickly call on members of Kuren and the rest of them and say, okay, this association is the one that normally feed people. But how can your organization also come in to help us to understand, so that we have less of this kind of situation, and to hold someone responsible, we know who to hold responsible. You know,
while I applaud the efforts that have been done so far by a lot of other professions, all right, please, whether you're an engineer or an architect, these roles are critical to delivering projects. But with the establishment of CIPMN, whoever is leading a project will need to be licensed by us to lead that project. And when something goes, if there's a building collapse now, all right, in somewhere in Lagos or in Abuja, and that person is a licensed project manager, we know the name of the person that oversaw this particular project. You might have a company. This is why, even if there's a problem, if there's an issue in a hospital where something has gone wrong and a patient has died, and perhaps that patient shouldn't have died, something went wrong maybe on an operating table, you might hold the hospital responsible, but the particular doctor that operated on that patient has a license that can be pulled if we find out that that medical practitioner did not follow the right practices in that procedure, or there was some kind of negligence that led to the loss of life. You can pull that person's license. So that person knows that there is not just a personal consequence to him, or there's not a consequence only to the hospital, there's a personal consequence to him for getting things wrong. Now, if you have a licensed project manager on a project, that individual knows there's a personal consequence to them if this building was to collapse in the next 10 years. Because we would look for the project manager that oversaw that project and say, no, you oversaw this project, what happened? Because you have to answer for it. And then you say, oh, well, the client said I should only do this in this way because there was no money. Where are the documentations that I expect you to have as a project manager? Where did you highlight these risks? All right, for us to see that you raise this issue. And even at that point, our project managers will choose not to go on. If it is because they know that they will lose their license and they would not be able to work again. How would they feed their family? How do they take care of themselves? So it is better, all right, that you say no to that wrongdoing than you say okay because you don't want to lose that job. And when something goes wrong, you stand the chance of losing your license, which would stop you from working.
Exactly. And from what you have said, Mr. Emi, it seems that project management cut across all sectors.
It does.
There are 7 major sectors in the world in terms of economy. There are 24 lower sectors and sub-sectors. But I see that it cuts across sectors. But let's take it down a little to other Nigerians, the informal sector. How can they also benefit from project management? Because it's also key in that regards to informal sector.
Oh yes, that's why I said to you, through the Mr. President Scale Up Artisan Program, we started some work with ITF, and that work was just to train, we call it the Train the Trainer program for the Scale Up Artisan, to train the individuals who will be training the artisans. All right, the artisans is where you find the informal sector. All right, and I normally give this example. You know, if you go to America, you go to the UK, and you have your doorknob is broken, and you call a carpenter to fix that doorknob, that person is going to come on board. You know, in the UK, they will come with all their tools and everything. They will clean up that doorknob so nicely, you will basically think you bought a new door. And the good thing about these people is that when they are cleaning up this doorknob, they will make sure that the entire door is in the right state. You know, but then you can call a carpenter in Nigeria and the person just comes there with 2 nails, one is long, one is short, you know, and then he you know, bang, 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 and he says, you know, oh God, this nail is not really the size, let me go and buy another one. And then they just do it the best they can, and then they walk away because really they don't care. You know, so you need to be able to begin to change the mind of these individuals. Project management is a mental thing. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of being. When you teach the person project management skills, the carpenter will come in there and say, oh, this doorknob is bad. My question is, why is that doorknob broken? Why did it go bad? Is it that the door is not properly adjusted? Is it that every time they hold the door it's difficult to open? You know, I'm going to try and, if it's difficult to open, then even if you fix it, it's still going to go bad tomorrow. So what do? I'll say, Oga, you called me to fix this doorknob, but if I fix this doorknob, it's going to go bad tomorrow. Do you know why? Because these hinges are pulled and the door is slanted to one side. It's difficult to open. So every time you try to open it, you're going to keep pulling excessively on this doorknob. So let me fix these hinges, realign the door, and then fix this doorknob, and you won't have a problem again. Then the person says, oh, okay, you can do it. Or no, I don't want you to do it. Just fix my doorknob. And then at that point, you can say, okay, fine. Sir, please agree that this work I'm performing, you know, you want me to do it at this standard, I'm recommending so and so, and you're recommending this. The guy says, yes, go ahead, do it. Do you understand? You know, because now that artisan, hopefully, you know, that ITF, you know, follows through to the plan that they have on board. Hopefully that artisan's license is also at risk. Because what ITF, I believe, is hoping to do in my conversations with the DG, you know, is to ensure that every artisan is licensed. And you only select licensed artisans to do your work. So you see, that cuts across everywhere. Exactly. So when you want to fix your car and you see that this person is a licensed, you know, ITF licensed artisan, you expect that they have a certain level of reasoning, you know, that will make your products come out better. ITF has given them that project management skills in collaboration with CIPMN, has given them that job-specific skills, all right, with ITF, and then they get the ITF license so you can trust. So hopefully, if ITF maintains the trajectory that it has planned to maintain, then you can find a situation where you begin to have better artisans, delivering better value for you and me and making our lives easy. All right?
Very interesting. Now let's get back to the public sector again, but now to the subnationals. How has it been like at the state government level? Let's take the state government level before we go to local. What are your partnership collaboration at the state? Because at the state level, there are a lot of rots when it comes to project delivery and the rest. So what is CIPM doing in that regard?
We have been speaking to a few states. Again, we're a new organization. Yes, so there's a lot of work we're doing, both internally, to try and make sure that all our structures are properly set up, and then to be able to now begin to collaborate with other, agencies or states and all that to be able to deliver value. So you have to take it easy, because we're not going to, we would not have gotten through all of the states, but we've spoken to a few states. I can tell you something, there are a few states in Nigeria that are doing awesome work, and I might not want to mention, because a few of these conversations are basically in the initial stages.
Exactly.
But I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I mean, one thing after all the hype, I can tell you that Lagos State is just unbelievable. The way they think, the way the civil servants think in that state is just amazing. A few states like Kaduna, awesome. So there are some. We are beginning to have that conversation. And to be able to see what we can do, for states. But I can tell you something. Yeah. A lot of people talk about federal. Okay, a lot of people talk about removal of subsidy, and that that has made life difficult for everybody and all of this. But there's a lot of excess funds that was saved from subsidy removals that still went to the states. And I can tell you something, and I'm saying it here: if every state governor can do the right thing for their state, me and you won't have problem. We won't have any problems. Because it is within their purview to use the budget for which they have, to use the monies for which they have, to develop the states in which people are talking about some states are doing well, some states are not doing well. Who's stopping them? It's not just stopping the state governor from doing whatever he wants to do. He's the chief executive of the states. All right? So we are going to be speaking with a few states. We've gone to some forward-thinking states. The moment they hear project management, you don't need to convince them. They call you. They say, you know what, let's have conversations. They bring you over, you have conversations, you begin to discuss on how to elevate the project management skills within the civil service of the states. And there's some states that when you call project management, they're still busy running after one thing or the other, and their mind is not, it's unfortunate, yes. It's unfortunate, because you're thinking federal, everything is hard. President Tinubu, please, let's take it easy. If your state governor solves some problems within your state, there are federal roads that have no business being discussed, at a national level. When at a local government level, it can be solved. Who is controlling? Is it the federal government that is telling local governments not to build the road? So if you deal with things within the states, you won't have problems. So as we begin to move towards states collaboration, we hope that the governors of the states are forward-thinking enough to recognize that they need to upskill the individuals within the states. They need to begin to put project management in the forefront of what they are doing. That, you see, look, that you deliver a project completely from start to finish does not mean that project was successful. A project that was meant to be delivered with 3 billion might be delivered with 10 billion. Did it finish? Yes. Did we waste? Of course. So World Bank report that said that Nigeria in 2024 spent $4 billion on corrective works. So this is, you have finished delivering a project. Things are not done right. So to correct it, you're spending $4 billion across all the sectors. Can you imagine? Monies that could be saved if you did it right from the beginning.
This brings me to that level of asking this question, because I had the opportunity of hosting Fiscal Responsibility Commission, a top official on my show, and when they talk about our state are, collecting loans here and there, it brings me to the point that can we also apply project management to the issue of borrowing by state?
Borrowing, I think, I mean, it's what it comes back to this same point I've made. When it's time, all right, to borrow, a lot of requirements set by a lot of these organizations that are willing to lend you. We do all the work to get the paper documentation rights. After that, that's it. That's the problem. Because if you have actually, I've been on a project. I worked on a project with the BBC in the UK. That was about maybe 2016. When I was brought in on this project has been running for close to a year, and it was doing very badly. You had producers running projects, people who are not project managers, and they were doing very badly. So I got a call. Someone says, I was living in London at the time, says, Henry, there's a BBC project, are you interested? They're struggling. I'm like, okay, fine. It's a microbit project. I went to Manchester, had the interviews, said, look, Henry, we really need you to come in and manage this project. I accepted. I went in to manage the project. The first meeting I said to them, where is the business case? And they were like, yeah. And I said, and then in the meeting somebody said, oh, we don't do this. And I said, why don't you do this? What was the reason behind why you don't do this? It was discussed before I came. It was before my time. And then somebody says, and I asked, okay, is anybody here aware of why this should be done? Well, no, that decision was made before I came. Okay, where are documentations leading to that? It happens everywhere. So one of the problems you see is that in the beginning stage, to win the contract, the people in here within the state levels or to borrow or whatever it is, they get proper documentation. It doesn't belong to one person. The project, before you even get the loan, you should have the setup and the individual who is responsible for the delivery. How you are going to keep documentations, how you are going to manage changes, how you are going to deliver, how you are going to get your requirements, deliver against the requirements, test this delivery to ensure that you've delivered according to the requirements and control any corrective measures. All of that should have already been done. And once the project kicks off, the project manager is the custodian of all of that. That individual would now begin to work with everybody else to deliver this money that was borrowed, or the reason for which it was borrowed, to deliver value. All right, and to make sure that we fulfill the business case, which is the reason why we are borrowing it and the economic value it is supposed to bring. All right, and then that person will be responsible for working with everybody to deliver. So at every point in time, there are project management practices that ensure that there are documentations that need to happen at every stage. That's an idea of breaking up your project into stages. When you finish stage 1, before funds are released for stage 2, not only do you show that you have done stage 1 properly, but you have produced a plan for stage 2 that is now approved before you go ahead. All right, and all of that is being documented. CIPMN also recommends for you to have a sustainable plan. All right, so that by the time you are getting to the end of delivery or before you even start, we want to know how that project is going to be sustained after you are done. Because you can't just finish and then drop it. Oh yeah, we're done. All right, and then we don't know, there's no strategy in place for how that project will continue to live and survive after it's been delivered.
Very interesting. I really enjoyed this conversation, Mr. Henry, but CIPM, how has it been like? When I mean how has it been like, you know, a typical government agency, how are you surviving in terms of your funding? How is it surviving in terms of human capital resources, talk about your staff strength, and how you be able to mobilize around Nigeria, running here and there, you know, from that angle.
Why are you asking this question?
I have to, because nobody will hear CIPM that will say, look, that's a government agency. They should have enough money. They should have enough staff. So let us know the aim.
No, there's something. I mean, CIPMN is meant to be a revenue generating agency, but of course, yes, you don't just generate revenue out of thin air.
Exactly.
Yes, our act mandates that we raise revenue from everything else. So making sure that you license individuals, you license companies, you license higher education institutions, you license everybody delivering project management training. Or so yes, there is an opportunity to raise funds, but at the early stage it's very difficult, you know, because we don't get appropriation from the government, which is fine.
But it's very hard for Nigerians to believe that an agency of government doesn't have budget appropriation from federal government. It's very, I'm telling you the fact.
If the federal government has given us 1 naira, maybe they should tell us now. They should tell me. Let me even look for where the money is. But no. We and then the Minister of Trade and Investment. I've seen 3 ministers now. Tumbani initially when the act was signed into law, and then there was Dr. Doris Uzoka and now Dr. Jumoke and Senator John Honor. None of them, none of them has said, you know, CIPMN.
Take this amount.
No, not even one. You know, but the thing is that it's okay, because if we are to do our job, I don't even need apron strings. All right, I don't need apron strings. I don't even think it's the best, because we're supposed to look at government projects and public and private sector projects. Exactly. All right, and tell me, if you're getting appropriation from the government, you are going to want to. Just in case you don't get it next year, you have to behave yourself this year. But no, we don't get appropriation, and in some way I think it's okay. Although, what I think would help is that ministries, departments, and agencies begin to realize that there is a benefit that project management can give to the work they do. It can help them streamline how they spend public funds. It can help them manage the spend of public funds. Project is done in a controlled environment. you have to control the activities. Make sure you don't spend too much. Make sure you don't waste. Make sure you utilize properly. You know, I delivered a project where we delivered a project 3 months before the delivery, and we thought we would have done a good job. But then the cable that was running across under the sea somewhere in Europe, we switched it on. And for every month that cable is on, you pay some fee. We delivered 3 months before and didn't even know. Nobody, it didn't occur to anybody at the time that you pay some fee on this line. So after 3 months, when we were about to go live, we got a bill. What's this bill about? So your line has been on for three months now, and we are celebrating that we delivered 3 months. So there's a lot of problems that you can avert, you know, with project management skills, and that can save the country a lot of resources. So I think if they begin to realize that, then you will find that CIPMN will actually begin to collaborate more with these agencies, and you will find that we'll begin to do a lot of work to raise funds. Now, the reason why we haven't done a lot of enforcement is because we've done a lot of sense that enforcement can help us generate revenue. It's true. You know, and that is what I'm willing to now do now. You know, and that is why, you know, okay, I'll give you an example. We've worked with University Commission, NUC, to create that curriculum in the university space now. So that's fine. All right. We are now coming over to the private sector side. There are many institutions and organizations that deliver project management trainings, project management certifications. The Act establishing CIPMN says that for you to practice project management in Nigeria, you must be licensed by CIPMN. So even if you get a certification from this institution, that certification does not qualify you to practice. You have to come to CIPMN to get a license. In fact, that institution delivering certification must have the license accreditation to even deliver project management training. Because we need to harmonize the thinking. A few days ago, I was on TV and there's a press release that said that I'm giving the Project Management Institute, you know, an ultimatum to quickly obey the law, because we have been writing them for a few years now. So quickly obey the law. Let Project Management Institute PMI come and get their courses in Nigeria accredited. If you can be in 200 countries of the world, it makes no never mind. Nigeria has a law, and the law in the country must be obeyed. And the law says that if you are in Nigeria and you want to teach project management, you want to practice project management, you want to lead in the project management space, you must get accredited by CIPMN. So that institution that is delivering a certification course in Nigeria and project management must have our accreditation to do so in Nigeria. That's the law.
And I'm talking about this international collaboration that you already mentioned in your submission right now. What about in Africa? How has it been like with other African countries? You know, the way there are some Nigerian agencies that are having a stretch of collaboration partnership with African.
No. Let's not go too far. You know, right now our mandate is in Nigeria. We have a lot of issues to solve here. Do you understand? Now, CIPMN can collaborate with any organization that is willing to collaborate with it to strengthen project management effectiveness in Nigeria. But what we are saying is, first of all, if that organization is delivering project management training or project management services in Nigeria, they need to get licensed by CIPMN, first of all. Then, once they get licensed, that means that certificate that they're giving must be recognized by us.
Exactly.
All right? Take it from this angle. If you go to Harvard, one of the best universities in the world, you study medicine in Harvard. You've used the best medical equipment, you've done the best, you've done it all the best way. You come to Nigeria, my brother, can you simply walk into a hospital and begin to operate on people?
No, it's not possible.
You need a medical license in Nigeria. Because it's a very, very serious field. The same thing with law. You study law at a top university in Singapore or somewhere else. You can't walk into Nigeria and walk into the court without a license and begin to practice law in Nigeria. No, project management has been elevated to that level. No more delivery certifications everywhere. Even if you're 100 years old and you have been doing it for donkey years, it's irrelevant. The law now says that we need to harmonize all of this in one place. Why? So that there's an oversight on what is happening in project management in Nigeria. The Act says that any regulation CIPMN makes in terms of project management in Nigeria should be gazetted. And before it is gazetted, it goes to the Federal Ministry of Industry and Investment. At least minimum 7 days before that law is gazetted, which means we make regulation for the field.
Very interesting.
It is.
Mr. Erin, time is very precious. These are very interesting times, particularly with the way you are bringing the intellectual discourse in a way that Nigerians and viewers will really understand. I really want to appreciate you for coming on the show. We hope we can come to EDB and also part of, because this advocacy that you want to study, this enforcement, you will need the press to also help you out.
I agree. It's very important because, and it's not because we just want to go around stressing everybody else. We need to harmonize that thinking.
Exactly.
All the certificates, everybody delivering project management, teaching it, doing it, come and get your license. In fact, at the end of this month, we have an induction that is coming up, inducting new members. You know, anyone who is interested, you need to regularize.
But I need to quickly ask, how for individual is not beyond their pocket?
No, it's not. But you know one thing that I think is important? CIPMN can create millions of jobs for Nigerians. All right. There's a research that said that by 2027, over 87 million project management roles will be available worldwide. Project management is in the UK. Project managers can get paid £1,000 a day, not a week. £500 a day. In the US, in Australia, in the Middle East, these people are paid so much. Why? Because one project manager can save you billions in proper planning. We need to make project managers in Nigeria, we need to bring them up to that level. The job of CIPMN is to ensure that we elevate the practice so that we create job openings for project managers in Nigeria and to make sure that their skill set is recognized and properly paid.
Very interesting and very instructive. Making project management a veritable tool for economic growth in Nigeria. That has been the bane of our discussion. And for Mr. Erin, he has made it clear it is a course that we need to take on to help the economy to grow. So, Mr. Erin, once again, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
We hope to have you once again, maybe in future, to come and talk about how this project management and how the CIPM will be carrying out this mandate across Nigeria. Thank you so much,
my brother.